Back at Luxembourg, just 3 hours later, the German war machine ground on, smashing through Europe's borders. 600,000 troops, 1,000 panzer tanks, and 1,000 aircraft flooded into Belgium. The first target was Fort Eben Emael, considered impregnable, but in 18 hours, that symbol was reduced to dust. Then the Germans split into two directions. The first pushed hard into central and northern Belgium, like Leuven, Hasselt, and key points along the Dial River, forcing French and British main forces north to aid their allies. The second was southern Belgium and the Ardennes, leaving the entire Allied force in northern Belgium cut off and surrounded. Finally, the Germans took Brussels and pressed west, herding British and French troops to Dunkirk. That's when Belgium surrendered, all in a mere 18 days. On the southern front, meanwhile, the Germans with 1.5 million troops, 1,500 panzer tanks, and nearly 1,800 aircraft secretly pierced the Ardennes, striking straight at Sedan. Then they crossed the Meuse River and raced to the coast at Abbeville, fully isolating and encircling the Allied forces, forcing them seaward for evacuation to England or total annihilation. On June 5, 1940, Germany launched Operation Fall Rot, holding back a small force to defend against England, while throwing everything else across the Somme and Aisne rivers to smash the thin remaining defenses, then racing to Paris and toppling France completely. Plus, Italy opened a front on the Alps border, adding pressure for Germany. After 6 weeks, France collapsed. A puppet government was set up in Vichy. From here, Hitler's gaze turned to the one enemy still standing, Great Britain. But how to cross the English Channel when the German Navy was so outmatched by the Royal Navy? A bold path was drawn. Crush Britain from the air. On July 10, 1940, Operation Sea Lion began. Germany hurled about 2,600 Luftwaffe aircraft straight at London. They thought it'd be flattened, forcing Britain to surrender. But what happened? In 3 months, the Luftwaffe lost over 1,700 planes and 3,500 pilots. A huge blow, and the Third Reich's first taste of defeat. Around the same time, the Tripartite Pact was signed by Germany, Italy, and Japan, officially forming the Axis powers in World War II. Then Hungary, Romania, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and Yugoslavia joined one by one. But Yugoslavia betrayed them 2 days later, and Italy suffered a disastrous failure on the Greek front. This forced Germany to launch Operation Merida with 680,000 troops, 1,200 aircraft, and 1,500 tanks, hitting both Yugoslavia and Greece on April 6, 1941. It started with a horrific bombing of Belgrade, Yugoslavia's capital, followed by advances from Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, Italy, and Albania. 11 days, that's all Yugoslavia could hold out. In Greece, the Germans assaulted the Metaxas line from Bulgaria and Thessaloniki from Yugoslavia all at once. Obviously, Greece, already exhausted from 6 months fighting Italy, saw Athens fall in just 1 month. Finally, the biggest target, an incredibly risky gamble. But Germany had to take it, the Soviet Union. If Germany didn't crush the Soviets before America joined the fight, they might end up in a two-front war. On the flip side, conquering the Soviets would give them Ukraine's wheat, the Caucasus oil, Donbass coal, endless war resources. On June 22, 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa with over 3.8 million troops, 3,600 tanks, 600,000 vehicles, and 2,700 aircraft slamming into the Soviet Union on 3 fronts: Leningrad in the north, Moscow in the center, and Ukraine and the Caucasus in the south. But contrary to German predictions and hopes, just as they besieged Leningrad, got within 30 kilometers of Moscow's gates, and fully controlled Ukraine's breadbasket, they were stopped dead. This was the farthest line they'd ever reach. What followed was a string of defeats across all fronts. And it all ended in Berlin, an empire that spread terror across Europe, but lost everything in the place they thought they'd conquer in just 3 months.